Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Eljay Johnsen Show. This show airs every single Saturday, every weekend at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise over on Twitter at the Eljay Johnsen, where you can find updates and guest announcements every single Tuesday. And if you have any questions over the week, make sure you head on over to my email, eljayjohnson@gmail.com. Remember, that's Johnsен. Okay, much better start. Excellent. I do apologize to everyone watching live. The recorded version will not have these issues. However, let me explain. So, this week, I've switched programs that I use to stream. I switched from XSplit, which is what I have been using, to Streamlabs OBS. Now, Streamlabs OBS is a far superior program, in my opinion. It was awesome. It was great. I used it earlier today for TTV, and it was wonderful. Unfortunately, it decided it really didn't like me. So, it would just continuously sync, because it syncs files to your YouTube account, or to your account, which is basically just your YouTube account. And so it decided to just sync perpetually. Syncing files, syncing files, syncing files. And that just led to issue after issue after issue after issue. So it wasn't worth trying to deal with. So we're back to XSplit, at least for now. So I apologize for all the delays and technical difficulties and appreciate the patience. Okay, so this week, my guest is a member of RSG, the BIONICLE group that is doing 3D printed masks, as well as an RPG BIONICLE element. It is, of course, Ulti. How you doing today?
Hey LJ, I'm good. How are you?
I feel like I'm getting the feeling of deja vu.
Yeah, it feels like we've crossed the timelines.
Yeah, yeah. But it'll work out. This is much more of a stable process at the moment. You know, it's the enemy you know as opposed to the enemy you don't, basically.
Yeah, you at least know how to force XSplit to work.
Mm-hmm. Essentially. So, that's alright. So, as I've asked numerous guests, including last week's, I will ask you this. How is the weather?
Surprisingly good for Britain. It was really hot today, which everyone but me liked because I don't like the sun.
Oh, yeah, and I can relate to that. I don't like heat. It's summer right now. It is, let me see, outside, it's 37 Celsius.
Ooh, yeah, we were up 29 earlier, and that was
Ouch.
too much for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is excruciating. And for all of my American listeners, that's about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So,
Ooh.
all right. Well, things are already off to a much better start, so we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
proceed as we were. Gosh, I'm so glad I did not make this switch when I had Greg on.
Oh my god.
I can't even begin to imagine. In any case, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself, how you got into LEGO, how you got into the community, and what you do now.
Alright, hi, I'm Ulti, member of RSG, as LJ said. Oh god. I got into Barnacle around, I want to say, 2006. Because my first set was Raidak, so it had to be 2006, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a weird thing that happens with all the 2006 sets where everyone thinks the Paraka are good and the Unika are bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's exactly what happened to me. I was like, he's got a gold chainsaw. Gold equals good.
I mean, that's not an
Uh,
unfair thing to think, especially at the
Yeah.
time, because no evil characters had been associated with the color, so...
Yeah,
Alright.
and I was like 4. No, I was 5. Yeah. I got Raidak, and I loved him so much, I made a scheme to get a second Raidak, which involved hiding my first one under my bed and being like, oh, I can't believe I lost him. My favorite set. Will you buy me another one? And then they didn't fall for it. They are like,
Oh my gosh.
I can see him under your bed. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll just get Jala then. Even though he's definitely evil.
When did you find out that was not the case?
Oh my god, it must have been like because I didn't get into the lore of Bionicle until probably 2008. So I spent all of 2000. Actually, no, I think I realized around the time the Mari came out, because when obviously they went from when Motoro went from looking like a cow to a really cool scuba diver, I was like, oh, they were the good guys all along.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I certainly commiserate because I didn't like the look of the Anika. I didn't like him at all.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I kind of liked them. I kind of liked them, but I also thought they were evil looking.
In retrospect, some of them still skeeve me out. Like I said, I really do not like the Iden because I just think it looks like a cow.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I love the design of the Calyx. That's a good mask.
I like it. Yeah, no, I do like the Calyx. I have trouble with association, but
Yeah,
outside
I
of
can
that,
see that.
outside of that, I
Yeah.
do like the Calyx. It's a fine mask.
Yeah,
So is the Senok for the most part, but I'm not a big fan of any of the others. So.
yeah, that's fair. The Sanok's pretty good actually. I'd say that's probably up there for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, at what point was it after getting into Bionicle that you decided to enter the online community?
Oh god. I think it must have been around 2008 or 2000 and yeah, 2008
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't like major member. I just sort of pranced around on the message boards being like, "Oh wow, I love the Toa so much." I didn't really get into it seriously until way after Bionicle ended.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, oh, I say seriously, I've been into the story of it, like very hardcore. I used to be able to. You could say the name of a Kanoe and be like, ah, that's the power of it, straight off the top of my head. I can't do that anymore. But I didn't get into like the online stuff until I was, God, it must have been 2014 actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, I because I don't remember what caused it. Basically, I was just like, man, I really love Barnacle. I wonder if that TTV place is still around, and you were. And I joined the Patreon, and I made friends, and then I vanished for a year, and then I came back much later, and everything was different. All people that I knew were gone, and some people were still there, and I was like, okay, I can work with this.
Mm-hmm. I forget. Was I there at the time when you got back, or?
Uh, oh yeah. So that's the thing that happened. I completely missed you getting fired. And what happened was, I left before you got fired, and then I came back, and that you were gone, and there was a week period where I was like, "Hey, what happened to LJ? Where'd he go? I really liked him." And then the week after that, you came back. And I was like, "Oh,
Oh boy, what a week!
so for me, you weren't gone that long."
Yeah. Oh jeez. Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very briefly, you mentioned that you aren't able to, you can't rattle off the names of mask powers off the top of your head. Are you sure?
Oh God, maybe it's deteriorated heavily over the last year. Because like start of oh God, start of 2018, I could still do it, and then halfway through 2019, I was like, what, what, what's the? Oh, okay, I can't. But yeah, some of them confuse me. If you throw one at me, I might know it.
All right.
I might not.
Garai.
Gravity.
That's a pretty easy one, admittedly.
Yeah.
Um, Pikui.
Oh, shrinking, diminishment.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Good, good. Rua.
Oh, Rua. Where? That's wisdom.
Yeah, all right. Excellent. Now I gotta look to the list. All right. Felnaz.
Maybe if I. Oh, Felnas. See, I definitely stumble on the Makuta ones. Isn't
But
Felnas?
you knew it was a Makuta one, so that's good.
Yeah, I know it's one of the 08 ones. Oh god, Felnas. I wanna say that's Disruption.
You are
The one that
correct.
killed Icarax, yeah.
Yeah. I still think you got it. No, I still think that's pretty good.
Maybe if I end up going to Brick Fair next year and you're there, I might do the lore challenge then.
If we do the lore challenge.
Oh, LJ.
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Also, I wouldn't ask you such easy questions.
Oh, damn.
Like, I would ask, for instance, what is the one canonical appearance of the Mask of Elemental Energy?
No one gets left behind.
Oh, okay, not
Varian
bad.
uses it.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, fair enough.
I nearly said Bionicle the game.
Yeah, the canonical, that'd trip you up. Okay,
Yeah.
so fair enough. Let's go and move on. So, you join the community, you join the
Yep.
TTV side of things, and what happens after that?
So like I said, I made friends, then I left, then I came back, then you came back, and apparently while I was gone, all my friends that were still there had formed a group without me. Which was a sore point, because they were like, oh, we're playing D&D, and I was like, oh wow, I really love that. Why didn't you tell me? And they're like, oh, none of us remembered you existed.
Gosh, dang.
And there was the whole countdown thing, you know. They posted the character posters on the site, and they were like, "Ooh, 5 days." I was like, "Wow, that sounds really interesting. I'm gonna work my way into that." And it was kind of a funny thing because one of our mutual friends, he accidentally spilled the beans, and I was like, "Okay, I know that. Hey, can I help with that?" And then yeah, I got into Red Star Games.
Who was it?
It's Pelicar.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Good going, Peel. No.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. And then from there on, what was your position in RSG?
So the way I got into it, because they make like masks and stuff. I can't draw. I can't 3D model.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I can do D&D stuff, and they said like, oh well, we're making this RPG game. Why don't you help us? So I got on. At first, I was like kind of low ranking. I did a lot of the stuff that no one else wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I worked my way up, and by the end of it, I was the head of that department.
Okay. And so I know we talked about this, obviously, in our original recording, but what did that entail?
It was kind of a mix of a managerial position and just a working position, really. So the whole thing about the mechanical department is taking aspects of Bionicle and being like, okay, how can you translate that into a game that's fun to play?
Mm-hmm.
So my job was not only to like make suggestions for that and come up with ideas, but because I was the head, I also had to make sure that other people's ideas were being worked on, and that there's a lot of debating involved, but I had to make sure that there was always a direction and that by the end of it, there was a result.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, when it comes to the game, now, or rather, yeah, no, we'll focus on the game for a brief moment. So, I've heard a variety of different angles that RSG came at when it came to the RPG itself and the system. So,
Yeah.
first of all, what can you play as? And second of all, what was the primary angle that you guys came at it with?
So currently you can, because I stepped down like a month or two ago. I'm not the head of it anymore. I just sort of help with stuff when it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, you can currently play as the Tower of the 6 main elements, but
Okay.
more are being worked on all the time, so more elements and other species. The main angle was trying to make a way that Barnacle could be accessed as an RPG that was not only fun, but also was lore friendly.
Lore friendly.
Yeah, so there, obviously Barnacle, it's a science fantasy. It's steeped in mystery and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and and it's got a rich lore. And part of that is, well, okay, how do we make the Toa work in a way that it's fun, but also it doesn't go against anything that was written? So it's not like, oh, God, I can't think now. It's like, how do we make the element of fire work in a way that has been, we all know how it should work, but like how would that be fun to play?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
you have
so.
to, yeah, you have to balance fun, but you also have to balance making sure nothing breaks what was established in the law.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then of course that does make a lot of sense. You know, you
Yeah.
want to. Something that Greg and I talked about last week was, or at least something that I had mentioned, was a critique he often got about the time frame that Bionicle takes place in, like 100,000 years. So things take place over that span of time. That many, literally many centuries. And I thought that that was kind of, I also agreed with the critique that that was a little much, up until he had made a post talking about how, well, now you have this large expanse of time to tell your own stories in. You have postmarks, you know, you have posts where this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. So you have events and markers, but you can fill in the blanks yourself. You have this sandbox, this world that you can now fill in and enjoy. And so would you say that's something that RSG is trying to achieve, give you the tools to also fill in that sand?
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of the like stuff that we have right now, it's sort of set in the era of Metro Nui. Oh god, like there's I think it's like 80,000 year gap between the. Okay, I'm definitely getting my timings wrong. It's like the
Uh,
gap between the Matoran Civil War and the time of the Toa Metru, right?
ooh.
Uh-oh.
I gotta check on that one. I'll just go to
Yeah.
BSO1's timeline. Let me see. To be fair, the timeline is my weakest subject, along with like Krana names and Krata stuff.
Oh,
Like, that
oh,
is easily the worst for me because it is
yeah.
such a large amount of time.
I used to
So,
have a lot of the timings memorized around that era, but like, oh, honestly, so much of it has slipped out of my mind.
mm-hmm.
I know the Matoran Civil War is important, but like, I don't know when it is.
So let me see. Okay. So, for instance, the Matoran Civil War, if you want to consider the start of the war to be the first trade dispute, then that's going to be 79,500 years ago.
Okay, so that's 500 years off.
And then the
Oh,
Toa
no.
Metru come into being 1,001 years ago.
Okay, so yeah. Well, it
So,
wasn't that.
yeah, no, you were really accurate. That surprises me.
Yeah, it surprised me too. But yeah, in that time period, not a lot happens. But
Hmm.
obviously, something had to happen.
Yeah. No.
So, way that, yeah, Greg left that expanse for people to write things, that's the perfect opportunity for people to run campaigns with their characters.
Hmm.
That's the perfect opportunity for, I don't know, you and your friends to play your Toa through a that period it's not completely alien, but you have options.
Hmm. Yeah. And then, of course, that makes one of my new quotes. That makes a lot of sense. It
Yeah.
helps. It helps to have the setting and the platform, and then you do all the rest.
Hmm.
So let's talk about the challenges of Darn, I do not have my right transition fade anymore. Oh, Streamlabs, I miss you. Let's talk about the challenges of taking something like Bionicle, which is expansive, it's very complex, there are a lot of different things to consider, and translating it into an RPG. What are some of the challenges that you ran into that people might not expect?
Okay, so like I said, it's science fantasy, so a lot of it sometimes it's narrowed down like to a point, and that's easy. You know that. The stuff that's hard is the stuff that isn't quantified. It's the stuff that like the story team left it in the air so they wouldn't be confined. But obviously that doesn't necessarily work. So one of the main hurdles, especially coming at the angle with the Toa, was how do Toa use elements? Because it's stated that Toa have a pool of energy that they draw upon that slowly regenerates, and it's like, okay, how would you put that into numbers? And basically a lot of it is trying to you have to reference a lot of different lore sources, but it's sort of trying to find the boundaries and then putting numbers to them. And
Okay.
we butted a lot of heads over that. One thing that we, in a similar vein, that we still can't figure out is Toa power.
How so?
Well, so obviously, so elemental energy regenerates, right? And
Yeah.
it's sort of stated to be like a smallish pool. And I don't really remember.
I don't know if I'd call it a smallish pool.
Yeah,
But
I don't remember but basically, obviously, as the primary tool of the Toa, it has a lot of references. And you can use those to sort of picture a boundary and then work towards that. Toa power, on the other hand, it doesn't come up very often and it doesn't regenerate. And once it's used up, it's either God, it's something to do with Taraga, right?
Yeah, so as soon as a Toa completes their destiny or fulfills their destiny and they have run out of Toa power, they become a Turaga. So for instance,
Yeah.
if you use up your Toa power but you haven't completed your destiny, it's like you don't have any Toa power. So you can't make Toa stones.
Yeah.
You cannot activate a destined Matoran's Toa power. And you cannot heal physical injuries or cure poisons.
Yeah.
So you can't do any of that. But as soon as your destiny is completed, no matter what the situation is, you're a Turaga.
And that's sort of like the thing with it, because it has all those uses, right? But it doesn't get used very often. And so the main examples are Lee Khan and the Toa Metru, right? The Toa Metru probably, well, let's see. They free the Matoran from the Matoran spheres using that. And then there's also that Hordika bear that they heal. And
Hordika bat?
Bear, the God, what is it? It's
Are you talking about the Gralak Ash Bear?
I think so. I don't remember. There's a bear that's infected by the Hordika venom, and the Toa Metru use their Toa power to sort of heal it. I don't recall. I think it's on the BSO1 page for Toa power.
It's the healing is, but there is also okay, yeah, no, I think you're right, because yeah, healing physical injuries, Bionicle Adventures 7, Web of the Vizirac, that's the source.
Yeah,
so I think you are correct.
Trivia: heal a mortally wounded ash bear.
Okay, fair enough.
But so you have those examples, but at the same time, how much Toa power did each of those things use up? How does creating the Toa stones use more or less Toa power than healing the ash bear, or more or less than reviving the Matoran? So it's very up in the air, and it's something that's hard to approach numerically.
I see. Okay, I can kind of see how that would be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
I would definitely think that the greatest feat toward using Toa power would probably be awakening the Matoran,
Yeah,
because
definitely, because
with a Toa stone, it's not a whole lot.
hmm
But okay,
yeah.
so
So
continue, continue.
yeah, so that's just saying that was very hard to approach. Elemental power, on the other hand, not as difficult, but still you have to make work to quantify that. Whereas, say, some Konohi were easier than that because
Hmm.
those Konohi already had imposed limits. So, for example, the Mask of Growth, the limits on that we know are that they can only grow up to 60 feet and their strength is less than that of a Bakari wielder. So you could say, okay, when they use that mask, that's the height limit and that's the strength limitation of it. So that's a lot easier to do.
Hmm. Yeah, it obviously helps to have some parameters.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I see how that can be a lot easier in the long run. What are some other straightforward things that you would say that kind of just fell into place?
Um straightforward things. There's stuff like Toa tools, which are fairly straightforward because those are just like weapons and stuff. And in earlier versions, we just had a table of weapons that you picked from, and it's like, okay, this is your sword. It deals 1d8 damage on a hit, and it uses strength to attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly simplistic. But in later editions, we wanted to lean a lot more into the fact that it's Bionicle. Your weapons are what you make them to be. So
Mm-hmm.
we created a thing called the modular weapon system, which is basically you can make your own custom weapons by picking from like a list of parts and stuff. So an example of a weapon might be you've got a small weapon, so it deals 1d4 damage. Its damage type is piercing, and also you picked a perk for it that makes it do bleeding damage, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone else might be like, okay, my custom weapon is a Kanoka launcher that it has a scope on it so I can see enemies from further away, but also I can put it on my back and wear it like a jetpack, all Vekoma style.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a wide variety of options in that. And that was a lot easier to sort of pin down because it was a mixture of picking things that were like straightforward for a weapon, picking things that other characters had already used, like Vekoma's disc launcher being able to be used as a jetpack. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's stuff where it's like, okay, go wild, come up with something that is interesting, that works, but also doesn't break the law.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that we came up with was like you can expend a certain amount of points when you're using your weapon to like press a button on it that changes the blade for a blade made of fire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. I see how that all kind of comes together. That makes a lot of sense. Gosh, I gotta stop saying that so often. But it's such a good sentence.
It's a
Anyway.
new catchphrase.
So I don't play a lot of D&D or RPGs. I'm going to be, but I don't actively, and I don't have a regular history with it. So for
Right.
someone like me who doesn't have a familiarity, how easy are these systems to get into?
It depends. So our system sort of draws inspiration from two other systems. There's D&D 5th edition, which is like the most beginner friendly version of D&D, right? It's pretty easy to get into. And then
Mm-hmm.
the other one is a system called Pathfinder, which is 5th edition's like enemy. It's a lot more complicated, and there's a lot of merging there. And if you're a beginner, it's not necessarily hard to get into. There's just a bit of reading involved. It's like, so say you've never really played them before, but you have a friend who wants to run the game, and they're familiar with it, right? They've played like Pathfinder or D&D before. They could pick this up pretty easily, and then they could run you through it. It's not necessarily like there's a major barrier. There's just some things that are a little bit more complicated than others. You don't necessarily have to use those systems. But yeah, it's pretty beginner friendly, but there's complexity hidden within it for people who want to seek that kind of thing out.
Okay. So, it's for people that are familiar with it, it would be pretty easy for them to get into things. Maybe they aren't necessarily familiar with all the Bionicle stuff, but there's a baseline they'd be able to understand, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And then for newcomers...
They're a familiar element.
And then for newcomers, it's straightforward in the ways that it needs to be, but if they're looking for a little more depth, then it is there.
Yeah, so obviously you could create if you're new, and you want to create a Toa who just hits things really hard, right? Perfectly easy. That's the way that you can do that. You want to be a Toa who's throwing out like fireballs constantly. A Toa fire is just constantly just blazes here and there. A little bit more complicated, but it's not necessarily mind-boggling. And then later on, there's this thing called the alchemy system, which is basically, all right, brew your own potions and stuff. Like oh god, what is it? Like Armana, the healing thing that appeared in the game and then got canonized. You can do that. That's like what you can do with the alchemy system. I'd say the alchemy system is probably the peak of the Doranai Nui's complexity.
Okay.
If you can understand that, everything else is probably a cakewalk.
Fair. Okay. That's good. That is good to hear. Because again, I know that there are other systems out there, and I briefly played one that Takuma, member of TTV, had created, but that was years ago. So
I remember back like before I left, and I was on the boards, and before everything with RSG, I remember reading that every day and being like, man, if only I could play that, but none of my friends wanted to. And then I left, and they were all like, man, it would be great if there was someone around here to play D&D with us.
Convenient timing.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, well, I mean, obviously now it's all worked out. So, now, on the story side of things, is this intrinsically tied to the story that RSG is crafting, or can it be done with people's own stories?
Yeah. You can go wherever you want with the story. Like the RSG story, it's less of a direct story and more of background world building. There's details there if you want to go and seek them out and use them. So there isn't anything like your Toa must fight these guys and they must do this mission. It's more, well, in this part of Metru Nui, this problem might be going on, and if you want to run your players through that, then it's there for you to use and to do that.
All right, that's good. I don't necessarily mind that aspect to it. Now, there are some... You mentioned that you wanted... Let me re-clarify. Let me restart the sentence. The story itself, the Doranai Nui one, is that ever going to be a public story people can engage in?
Yeah. So we have a thing called Shadow of the Colosseum, which is basically a campaign run in BIONICLE by RSG members. So I'm in it. There
Mhm.
are other people in it, and that'll happen at some point, I swear. Um, but yeah, that's sort of like if the stuff that happens in Shadow of the Colosseum isn't necessarily canon to everyone else's stories. It's sort of like an optional thing. If you want it to have happened, no one's forcing it on you.
Mhm.
So you could completely ignore it if you want. But that's kind of the story that we will be telling whenever it happens.
Okay. All right. I mean, that sounds like fun. I know that it was in the works while I was there. So,
Yeah,
provided it's still being a thing, I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah. Fine. Because with the RPG, we had point one, which was our first ever release, and then
Mhm.
point five more recently. And now that point five is out, the game has a much more stable like ground. The system itself has a lot better footing. Now
Mhm.
that point five is out, a lot of gears are finally turning for everything else,
Mhm.
including Shadow of the Colosseum. So I don't want to be here and be like, oh man, watch this when it comes out, but at some point in the future it'll be here.
Yeah, I'm sure you're very well aware that not always the best idea to give a proper announce date or
Oh,
a
yeah.
proper release date before something is
I've,
done.
I've learned that lesson.
Oh man,
Never again.
yeah, yeah, same. So, of everything you've been working on, what would you say your favorite aspect of it, if you can talk about that, is, and then your least favorite aspect of it?
Ooh. So they're both things that I've already talked about.
Perfect.
My favorite definitely has to be the modular weapon system because that was something that I'm not going to take all the credit, but I mostly drove that forward. I had help from other people like Lahari and a guy who's they're amazing. Their name is Wixel, and I'd love to give them a shout out. Like
Mm-hmm.
they they're so they're such a cool person. Um, yeah, me and Wixel basically we did that together, and it was such a blast. And I think it's such a obviously I made it, so I'm gonna say it's such a great addition. But like, it's I feel it was a great addition.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, yeah, because it's just so much. It's so much. There. Hang on, let me think. There are a lot of options involved. It allows you to be creative, and I,
Mm-hmm.
I really like that in systems. I'd say my second favorite thing probably has to be during the lead up to point five coming out. I did a lot of the new archetypes, and archetypes are basically like they're classes, if you're familiar with that term.
Very loosely.
So basically they're like it's a tree of abilities, and as you level up and put more levels into that tree, you get more and more abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So in the lead up to point five, again, Wixel and I we worked on a bunch of archetypes, and I think my favorite probably has to be one called the Marauder, which
Mm-hmm.
is sort of like this weird melee damage tank hybrid. So the idea is you're getting in there, and as long as you're punching things, you're staying alive.
Okay, so kind of like Brigitte from Overwatch.
Yeah, I hate that you said that, but yeah, because I hate Rosita,
Ah,
and
Brigitte's
anyone who plays
great.
that, Peel.
Oh,
God.
I play Brigitte as well.
Yeah, but I've only ever seen you play Reinhardt.
Okay, that's fair. I won't deny that. Continue.
Yeah. Least favorite aspect. Oh God. I'd say it might be the alchemy system.
Hmm.
When we were working on that, I was very hands off with it because I was like, I understand what you're going for. It's gonna be complex. It has to be by nature. It's working with like potions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anything to do with it. Please.
That can be understandable. Yeah, no, complexity is... I mean, if you want to do anything with potions, just go to Minecraft.
Yeah, I had a really subtle feeling you were gonna say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But even, yeah, I haven't done anything with potions in Minecraft in ages. I just make a really bad looking stone tower and I'm set.
That's what it was. We did a 1v1 in Minecraft.
Yeah.
That was the... Okay, yeah, I forgot. We did a 1v1 in Minecraft, and if you lost, then you'd have to make a mock, and if you won, then you get to be here. That's right. Fudge! I'd totally forgotten. I don't know if we got it on this recording, but full disclosure, everyone, I won.
I think we did. Yeah, we had... Basically, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't an idiot who decided on LJ's best day to be like, alright, LJ, it's you and me. We're gonna 1v1 in Minecraft. If I win, I'm on the stream. And if you win, I'll make a mock of you.
Where's that mock, Ulti?
Yeah,
Where's that mock?
it's really interesting. I was gonna make it, and I'm colorblind, right? I swear this is involved. I didn't know there was a difference between G1 Matter Green and the green they use in G2. And I was gonna make an LJ mock out of G2 pieces, and I was gonna be like, look.
That's fine.
And, well, yeah, I'm sure, but also, I don't have any green pieces.
Why?
Because my green sets solely consist of lure. No, God, how do you say it? How do you say his name, LJ? I don't want to get kicked off the show.
It's too late. You've already said Lua.
Liwa.
There we go.
I have Liwa Mata because as a kid, after I got Raidak and I moved on, I found out about the Mata and I was like, oh my god, that axe is so cool. I need it. And I won him in a eBay bid. So my green sets solely consist of Liwa Mata,
Good.
Kongumari, and Liwa Master of Jungle.
And air, because he's the best Toa, so he gets 2 powers. So.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only one that has 2. And he uses them. And he takes on Umarak the Hunter all by himself. And he takes out
Journey to 1.
Wait, but you started it, right? You saw like the first 2 episodes, yeah?
So what happened? So Journey to 1 was like 4 episodes and then a break and then 4 more episodes, right?
No, it was 1 recap, 2 episodes, break, 2 more episodes. It's 4.5.
I watched all the episodes before the break.
Okay, then you would have seen him dish out some sweet smackdown on Umarak.
Oh, I do remember now, yeah. He's swinging around in the jungle and Umarak's like, I'm a Starscream ripoff. And Liwa deal... Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless, alright, fair enough. I will be patient.
Yeah, I'm sure it will happen at some point.
If
to be fair, way back when, I nearly made a Howery mock.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing. I remember that. Well, I remember seeing it at Brick Fair.
No, that's not mine. That's someone else's. But
that's all right.
If you somehow hack into my Brick link, you'll find a wanted list of parts for a Howery mock that I never ordered.
All right, time to... No, I'm kidding.
Hold up.
I'm in. But,
oh god.
Well, I'll give you some lenience. You can make him a toe of plant life. Make him blue and green.
Oh. That just reminds me of that one post on the boards. Have you seen it? Where the guy's like, Greg, why aren't they brown and green?
I don't recall this.
It's a really good post. Greg's the guy's like, they should be brown and green, not blue and green. Greg, why have you committed this heinous sin? And Greg's like, it's colors, man. Ulti can't even see those. It doesn't matter.
Now I gotta look this up. Oh, fudge. I thought it was an actual post. An actual question.
Oh, it is.
To
I'll
Greg?
see if I can... Yeah, it's like oh god. Uh, yeah, Tour of Plant Life Colors. Is it? I think there's like a Greg archive or something, isn't there?
Yeah, well, is it on the TTV message boards or?
No, it's on the Lego ones
Oh,
that
okay.
got deleted. But I swear there's like the Great Greg archive or something.
There
I don't
is.
know.
There is. You're not
I
wrong.
think it's there.
Okay. Well, I look forward to it, regardless.
Thank you. It'll happen at some point.
Oh, bitter punk. No, I'm kidding.
God.
Okay.
Eljay, no.
Well, in that case, Ulti, would you like to get into the question portion of things?
Yeah, I'm sure there are so many for a guy that no one knows.
Well, for starters, I will go ahead and open it up to the YouTube live chat. And additionally, we actually do have some email questions.
Ooh.
I think both of which were sent before I announced who the guest was, but they were for
Oh.
the next guest. So,
All right.
all right. So, Professor oh no. Relojon, I'm going to say that's how it's pronounced, has a question for myself and you.
Ooh.
If you could switch the run times of any two LEGO themes, for instance, have Bionicle G2 run as long as HF and vice versa, what would they be? I would switch HF and Hero Factory.
Hold up. HF and Hero Factory.
That was what he had given as his answer. So he would have HF run for 5 years, or sorry, HF run for 3, and then Exoforce run for 5.
Oh, you said HF and Hero Factory.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Sorry, Exoforce and Hero Factory.
Oh.
That's my
How long
bad.
did Exoforce run for?
About 2.5 years. Actually, almost the exact, no, a little bit longer than G2 did. So it was 2006, 2007, and then one wave in '08.
I see.
So,
Oh god. I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of miss HF. I know everyone. I know that's like a massive sin, but I do.
that's
I
okay.
miss the days. I think. Oh god, I really don't. I don't know how long anything ran for, so I'll just say HF and Lego City.
Lego City is ongoing.
Oh, did he say expired ones?
He didn't, but for instance, so to put it this way, HF would have started in like the 80s, 90s, and be still going today.
All right, I'm swapping G1 with G1 with City.
Oh my gosh. All right, fair enough. I won't dispute that. I will say though, I would switch. So I have two answers. I would switch Slicers.
Ooh.
I would have their runtime be swapped with G2's.
How long did Slicers run for? I'm pretty sure they're
1 year.
older than I am. Oh.
Ran for 1 year.
What year was Slicers?
1999, I believe.
Slicers are older than me. Jeez.
Gosh dang. Then the other one I would do is I would swap HF for. Oh no. Actually, no. I'd swap G2's time,
Mm-hmm.
for. Oh gosh, what's that? What's a Fabuland? Fabuland. I'd swap it for Fabuland.
Oh, that's interesting. Never got into Fabuland.
Neither did I. But
Oh.
Fabuland ran for again. These are the amount of times the time frame that they
Right.
would run.
Oh.
That's what we're
For
switching.
some reason, my brain was like, clearly LJ wants Fabuland to run for longer.
Nope, not at all. Fabuland at that point would run for about 2 years, and G2 would run for 10.
Wow, okay. I didn't know Fabuland ran for nearly that long.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
The
there
more
you
you
go.
know.
So, all right. Moving on to the next question. Next one is actually from Jeremy Jason, who is listening right now. And I
Howdy.
it is their email. This is more to me, specifically about the Ben Cossi mock that I made.
Ooh.
First of all,
Ben Cossi mock?
I did. I had Ben Cossi on, and we're doing a mock exchange. I'm going to make a mock of him.
Oh.
He's going to make a mock of me.
I remember watching his videos.
I actually did. I did make the mock. It is made. I'm looking at it right now. I will be posting pictures to Twitter. I don't have the pictures taken yet, but it is absolutely done. It was at Brick Fair for a day until I had to bring it back with me. I just kept on forgetting that to bring it. But it was there. It's done. I will be posting pictures of it. So, okay. YouTube questions. All right. Sakota asks, "Hi, Ulti. Which one is your favorite RSG mask?"
Oh, God. All right. Actually, I can answer that pretty quickly. It's the Vanguard Kakoma.
Good
and
answer.
there's a story to that.
Oh.
When the Vanguard Kakoma... So the Vanguard... Oh, God. The concept art for it is really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not to be mean to my best friend Petrus, when the model first came out, it was pretty meh. And it holds a special place in my heart because I love the concept art so much that I actually ran a campaign to get it redesigned, and I succeeded. And now it's probably my favorite mask that we have.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah. The power of change.
The Kakama is my second favorite mask design, so I'd actually be interested to see that one again. I don't have it in my head off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's kind of like the regular Kakama. Oh my god. It's kind of like the regular Kakama, but instead of like the gap down the middle of the face, there's like a block there or something.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll have to go look that up again. Because I'm looking at the Vanguard Mirror right now because I was gifted that at Brick Fair.
Yeah, I saw about that. You got it in like trans green, right?
Yes, and it is awesome. Legitimately awesome. I may end up purchasing one in just matte green at some point. I kind of want to get all of the Mirrors. Just for fun.
Yeah. I would say if you're going to purchase it through Shapeways, Shapeways' green is like hideously inconsistent. It doesn't matter because with like yellow, it matches brick yellow pretty well, and others line up pretty decently too. Shapeways' green doesn't match a single one of Lego's greens, so if you are going to get it, I'd probably paint it.
Yeah, fair enough. I can do that. Okay. Next question is from Maniac for Bricks. Is that Joey? He asks, is cosplaying for the RPG games necessary or an advantage?
Absolutely necessary. If you're not coming wearing your, God, what is it? Your foam roleplay Hordika claw, don't come.
There you go. Jeremy Jason asks, Ulti, which is your favorite Toa and element?
Oh, no. I feared this question would come, and yet I didn't prepare for it.
Gosh dang it, Ulti.
So here's the thing. I'm kind of basic, but I don't want to admit it.
Okay.
It's a mix between G1 Pahatu, because one, he's got the Kakoma, which is probably one of my favorite original mask designs, and he's got a great personality. He's the heart of the matter. He's funny. He's always cracking a joke, and I like that. His weapons, the feet editions were cool. I actually got the Nuva feet editions in a trade with a friend who lived on my road and also collected barnacles but was older than me. And I don't remember what I gave him for it, but I ended up walking away with those very happy. And then my other one, it's probably Jala. And I'm not saying like Matoran Jala. I just like how Mari Jala looks. If I had to pick a set, if I had to pick a Toa on sets alone, it would be Jala.
Okay.
As for
I
my
can get behind that.
yeah, he's just got a really interesting build, and I like the shaping of the Arthron and some of his other parts.
Mhm.
If I had to pick a favorite element, I'd say it would be psionics.
Oh, that's a creative one.
Yeah, I genuinely just like psionics in other works of fiction, and the thing with like kind of go looping back to the RPG stuff, the only examples of psionics we have are Ord and Varian, and Ord's story didn't finish, and Varian's ends with her in a tube. So there isn't much that we actually know about how psionics works. So there's a lot to explore there, and I think it's a very interesting element.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
psionics for
I
me. I
agree.
just like telekinesis.
Yeah, it's like all mind stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay. All right, Brother W asks, admitting that, what is your opinion on The Last Jedi, and have you ever eaten a mangosteen?
Okay, I'm about to get kicked off the podcast.
Probably.
I think The Last Jedi isn't as bad as everyone says.
Wrong,
I
but
think
continue.
it's like it's bad, yeah. It definitely didn't live up to the hype, but it doesn't fall as short as everyone seems to think. Everyone sort of rallies around it being like, "Man, Disney's really terrible and mishandling the franchise." But it has its moments where it's good, and I think it's not necessary. It's definitely not my favorite of the of the new stuff. That would probably have to be Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it has redeeming qualities that people often overlook.
Okay. All right, glass half full. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I won't
Oh
contest it
God, what
now.
was the other question?
Have you ever had a mangosteen?
Funny story. I didn't know they existed.
Yeah, no, that's not a surprise. That's okay.
So the thing that happened is I first heard about mangosteens through LJ, Tower of Mangosteen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, haha, that's funny. It's like a made up thing based on mangoes. It's like the Bionicle mango. And then it turns out it's real.
Oh no. I'd love it if it were canon, but yeah, no. Oh my gosh. Okay. But you've never had one.
No, I don't eat fruit much.
Magic Ninja asks, what is your favorite mask out of the ones RSG has made?
Hang on. Well, didn't we just answer that?
Oh yeah, I guess we did. All right, no, that's already been. It's the Vanguard Kakama. That was asked.
Yeah.
Okay. Maniac for Bricks asks, I'm curious, what do you think about the Hero Factory switch from full construction figures to minifigures and mechs?
Oh, I thought it was a really weird choice because I like Pacific Rim. I like, even though the second one's pretty bad, I like that too.
Okay.
So to me, not Barnacle, Hero Factory suddenly doing a 180 and going into that. I thought it was an interesting move. I definitely thought it was a gimmick, and it's weird. Some of the sets definitely suffer because they have to be built with this random cockpit that's in some cases it's just bolted on, and in others the thing's built around it. And I think some sets like Evo's turret machine, they're completely irredeemable. But I also think that Evo's XL machine and God, which one is it? Rocker's combat machine, those are pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I don't dislike them. I didn't have a whole lot to do with Invasion from Below, but
yeah. For me, it's a mixed bag. Admittedly, I kind of would have preferred if they had been built in the way that oh my God, what am I thinking of? That, like, if they had been those, I'd have loved to have gotten more parts for like the characters.
mm-hmm.
But I can at least respect the direction for making them mechs, in that it gave us more build diversity. Not everyone was a bipod, you had crawlers and walkers and stuff, and it was at least something different.
Yeah, I can get behind that. There was a lot better variation as opposed to just
Yeah,
bipedal humanoids. So yeah, you're right.
I think I know it's like a long shot, but if instead of little minifigs, they'd been more akin to what Barnacle had for vehicles, where you had the figure and you put it in a vehicle, you like, if it had been like a more built up jet rocker, that'd have been great.
Okay, all right, fair enough answer. All right, we'll move on to the next question. Where did it go? Brother W asks, Ulti, how was your day?
It was good. Oh yeah, it was hot. I spent a lot of time playing Destiny
Oh no,
today.
sorry.
It's all right.
All right.
I'll get you into it one day.
If Meso hasn't, I got bad news, buddy. Maniac for Bricks asks, LJ, video of your mock win? I don't know, actually. I have like one mock video on this channel. I'm not opposed to doing more. Let me see here. Okay, Jeremy Jason asks, Ulti, where can we ask more questions about your 3D masks, the RSG 3D masks, i.e., color or which heads are more compatible? Are there other places to get the masks?
So I have to disclose that I don't make the masks. People that are way more talented than me make those. Is it okay if I talk about where it's possible to learn more about RSG?
By all means.
Okay, RSG, we have a Twitter. I'm 90% sure our Twitter has a link to a Discord server where you can go and talk to people about that stuff. I'm not in it because I'm lazy and I like sitting on my butt playing Destiny instead of doing much. But there are people there that will help you.
Okay. All right. There you go. Next question is from Cut the Craggle. Hey man, how's it going? And he asks,
Howdy.
do you think it's okay to have pineapple on pizza?
No.
Okay, man, you're just ticking all of the notes.
Yeah, I'm kind of basic. I'm just like...
Do you eat just a cheese pizza?
No, I'm a pepperoni guy, but basically my ruling is if it's not meat, it shouldn't be on the pizza.
I can get behind it. I can get behind that, except for the fact that you then get into dangerous technical issues. Like, well, if it's not meat, that's like everything. That's like
okay, the cheese can stay.
The marinara sauce.
Okay,
What about
the basics of the pizza can stay?
Okay, fair enough.
Well, the moment you're cutting up bananas and putting it onto the pizza, it's maybe time you stop.
I put mangosteen on a pizza.
Mangosteen isn't real, LJ.
It is absolutely real. I have a video of me eating mangosteen pizza.
It is a fiction created by...
You're a fiction created by...
And I'm well written.
Oh, that's a good answer. Okay. Let me see here. I think that's actually all of the questions.
Ooh.
Okay, actually, no, clarification. So, Magic clarifies from the question earlier. What is your favorite RSG mask out of the ones that aren't variants of already pre-existing masks?
Oh, God. Oh, God. Alright, I'm actually going to have to think now, because... Oh, actually, no, I don't have to think that much. There's a mask called the Onweku, which is, it's our mask of intangibility. And I like it because it gives me not only kind of knightly vibes, but the way that the mouth there is constructed, it makes me feel like Optimus Prime, and I enjoy that.
Alright, not bad. Not bad.
Because obviously a key part of like the Barnacle mask design is there's the circular mouth. I'm not a major fan of that, and I kind of like the fact that it's covered up by this sort of plate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it's a fair preference. Okay. We're gonna go with 2 more questions, and then we're gonna end. I'm gonna flip them. Philip asks, "Have you played Warframe?"
Yeah. I played it for a bit. I don't like the grind, which is weird for a Destiny player to say, but my main problem with Warframe's grind is that so much of it is time gated, and if you miss like a week, you've missed a year.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. The other question is actually 2. It's from Pseudonym, who asks,
Oh.
"What is your opinion on the situation of Omnic rights in Overwatch, and who is your favorite character?"
No. Why am I gonna have to fight you like for the 4th time?
Well, what's your
Give
opinion?
Omnics rights.
But Omnics aren't people.
No, they could be.
But they're not.
Yeah, but they become people if you give them rights. So give them
That's
rights,
not.
LJ.
That's not how that works.
No?
No.
I feel like it is.
Listen, they're robots, buddy. They're not alive.
Hey. Alright, should barnacles have rights?
But they're alive.
Oh, LJ.
They're biomechanical. They aren't robots.
Shut up. Oh,
Greg was
God.
talking about it last week. Like, that's where the powers that be was going to go. Ooh, do they have souls? Do they not? Ooh, what happens when you reboot them?
Oh, I must have missed that bit. I remember a lot of talking about old movies, which was cool. I don't really subscribe to those, but I liked that part of it. And I remember him. I remember his voice absolutely dripping with rage as when I asked him about doors.
Oh my gosh, you and your freaking doors.
Oh my god! I asked. Who was it? Someone asked if Cirrus Magma was flat, and Greg sounded absolutely done. I asked him if there were doors, and he sounded like he was about to end the stream, find my house.
Well, it's been fun talking about anything other than doors. Goodbye.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, it worked out.
Once you get me started on doors, I'm not gonna stop, LJ.
Then we're gonna stop. Those
Give
will be
the
our
doors
questions.
rights, LJ.
Omnics are robots, and I will destroy them all with my giant rocket hammer.
I don't play Orisa anymore, so I can't be like, oh, I'll just shoot you because I'm Orisa. No, I play Reaper now.
It wouldn't matter. Even if you were Orisa, it would not matter.
Are you... LJ, listen.
Mm-hmm.
If we 1v1 in Overwatch, I can't come on your show for a second time.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, well...
You wouldn't beat me as Orisa.
I know, but I'd probably beat you as a Reaper.
That's very likely. But I'm not going to challenge you as Reaper. Not yet.
No, damn.
So, alright. In that case, I think we're basically all good to go. What do you think?
Hang on. Peel has a question.
Oh, no.
Peel Titans are literally the only good class. Okay, then they'll end the podcast.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree.
Oh, you're a Titan?
Yeah, I play Titan.
Oh, respect.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Titan's where it's at. It's the only good class.
Yeah.
Alright. So, Ulti, in that case, is there anywhere on social media you would like people to head to or follow you at?
Oh my god. Alright, there's all the RSG stuff. You can probably find that by looking up Red Star Games. We have a Twitter, we have an Instagram. I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. Ulti, as a person, has a Twitter account that's really that's no one follows me. I'm at Ultisaurus. That's like Ulti, as in my name, and then Saurus, as in dinosaur, us.
Like Spinosaurus.
Yeah, that's a better
Tyrannosaurus.
analogy. Thank you. Yeah, not dinosaurus. Oh god. Sometimes I might stream on Twitch. Actually, LJ, you would know. At some point in the coming time, I will be forcing Diggy from Mask Posting to play Brawlhalla with me on stream for everyone's entertainment. So if that ever, whenever that happens, twitch.tv/Ultisaurus.
Okay. Excellent. Then that's all of them?
Yep.
All right. In that case, the links to all of those will be in the description below. So they will all be there. I highly recommend checking them all out. So go ahead and check them out. They'll all be there. All right, Ulti. I think that's it. Thank you very much for coming on, taking the time today.
Thank you for having me. It's weird that I'm here. I think OBS was actually trying to stop me from being here because it was like, listen, man, no one knows who you are. Stay in your lane.
Well, that's why I like to do the show, because I like to have all different kinds of people on, whether they're known or not. Doesn't matter to me. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to all of you who listened, be it live or the recorded version. They'll hopefully be out as soon as possible. That'll be it. This has been yet another episode of The Eljay Johnsen Show. The show airs every single weekend, every Saturday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless specified otherwise, over on Twitter at The Eljay Johnsen, where you can find updates and guest announcements every single Tuesday. And if you have any questions over the week, make sure you head on over to my email, ljjohnson@gmail.com. Remember, that's JOHNSEN. Boom! Nailed it! Second time!
That was impressive.
Thank you. I've practiced. By a little over a year. All right. That'll be it. Thank you. What was that?
Maybe not that impressive.
Okay. That's it.
I'm joking.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you all later. Have a good day.